Has SpaceX already found its peak on its IPO? Where's the Iran war at? And what are next steps? Okay, guys, welcome back to another beautiful day in real estate. Today, we have to be on the golf course here in the next 40 minutes. So we're going to keep this video nice and short, but we're going to make sure we get something out. Without further ado, let's jump into interest rates right away. Interest rates are moving slightly up. Why? Because yesterday, Kevin Warsh came out with his first meeting and talking about leaving interest rates exactly where they are. We kind of anticipated this. I believe the market already anticipated this pretty significantly. Bond prices are actually moving down slightly, but the market's kind of going to react for the next few days. Slightly up, slightly down, and it's going to stay pretty neutral, right? We've been sitting at these interest rates for quite some time. It is becoming that norm, and it has really become the norm of 2026 of 6 to 6.5% interest rates. Nothing too out of pocket, but to be honest with you, I'm a little more. I had a little hopium. I mean, I didn't expect it, but I had some hopium that we'd see the interest rates fall a little bit. But you know, it is what it is. So right now, nothing is going on that's too chaotic. But I mean, it is. We are seeing some positive news in the market for the first time in a while. So with that being said, let's talk about oil prices here slightly. Oil prices are, not looking great. Well, I mean, they're not looking great if you're long on oil. If you're not long on oil, then it's looking pretty juicy right about now. The nice thing is it tried to recover and it sold off completely yesterday. Moving into Thursday morning, we had a nice little pump. Not really. No, there's nothing going on right now in oil. Now that they're working on these peace deals, same thing with Brent. So this is Brent crude oil. This is WTI. And just keep going down, down, down. And why? It's because the war in Iran is coming to an end. Finally, we are starting to see things look in a positive manner. Tomorrow in Switzerland is supposedly when they are signing the peace deal. I saw something this morning. I didn't have time to dive into it, but it looked like Trump was signing the peace deal early or something along those lines, which those of you in real estate know that sellers sometimes sign early to get the thing done so they can keep moving on with their life. But anyways, it's good to see something like that. Oil's looking like it's not going to be recovering anytime soon. We'll pay attention over the next few days to see if it starts to bottom. And if it does start to bottom, what do the next steps look like? But for right now, oil's starting to head down. People are starting to feel optimistic again. The market is reacting kind of exactly how we expected it to be. So let's talk about SpaceX, my favorite company that everybody thought was going to run to all-time highs. I mean, it did run high, but I mean, whatever. So again, not a lot of data for it just yet. However, when you see stuff like this, it's pretty easy to tell what the next steps are. You look at the daily chart. The daily chart has this massive reverse candle. Reverse hammer. And then you have basically when you see a red candle overtake this body pretty significantly like that, expect it to go down. You guys, just like every IPO we talked about before, pumps, and then the hype kind of dies down and the insiders start to sell. Some people had this thing back when it was worth $10 a stock, $10 a share before it was even remotely close to being on the stock market, insiders or basically owning portions of the company. Now, I will say this is something that I really do like about Elon Musk and his company, giving people an opportunity to gain ownership through working. So we as a company here we're looking to create an ESOP at some point, which essentially means that it's owned by the people who work for it. And the nice thing is that you own equity in that company and you end up making dividends off of it. And if you do an IPO or you end up becoming public exchange, you get to be an inside investor. That is really significant for the middle class. Something like this is really significant. People that are average, you and me, that don't have trillions of dollars in our bank accounts, when we can be a part of something like this, it can be life-changing money. And they did talk about that, how some of the employees became millionaires over the course of the last 6 months because of this. It is really fascinating. Now, being a millionaire isn't as significant as it once was, but it is still really exciting. I mean, for people, that's enough to survive on for quite some time. And if it was me, man, I'd sell this at $1 million. I'd put it into some dividend stocks, and then I would also put it into some heavier growth assets, maybe a little bit of real estate. And then from there, you could live off the interest. You could live off the growth. I mean, that's huge. But anyways, long story short, SpaceX is doing exactly what we kind of anticipated it to do. I know I got pretty optimistic there for one day, diving into some of their ideas and plans. But as of right now, the market opens in 5 minutes for this particular one, and the pre-market's already $4 less than it is now, which is no surprise. So without further ado, let's jump into S&P 500. What happened here? Oh, fell off a cliff. Oopsies. Higher high, lower high, and now we're retesting these trend line. My question is, are we going to continue to bounce off of this, or are we going to break below? Probably, with this candle being as big as it is from Wednesday, more than likely we're going to dip below this trend line again. We could see a double bottom potentially, and then kind of a one bottom here, one bottom right around here. Oopsies, right around here, and then we're going to head back up. There is no guarantee, of course, but with peace deal in Iran, it's kind of weird because the peace deal happens or gets announced, and then the stock market kind of caves over. But when we're still in war, the stock market's running pretty heavily. We've talked about this one a couple of times, you guys, but that AI bubble, man, when 20% of the S&P 500 is all AI, and it's the only reason that the S&P 500 is running as hard as it is, that doesn't look or bode very well in our favor over a long period of time. Like I said before, there is an explosion in AI, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's mature enough to sustain the amount of growth that we've seen, and it just isn't yet. There's a lot of good things being developed, but again, we'll refer to the dot-com bubble. Just like the dot-com bubble, everything had to have some time to structure a good foundation and build from there. And right now we're in the phase of hype and excitement, and people think, oh, this is going to run forever and it's never going to stop. That's the dangerous time to be in the stock market. If it was me, which it is, and again, this is not financial advice, but take some money and put it somewhere where you can start making dividends. You can start creating cash flow. Dividend stocks are very valuable, and a lot of people don't think about that. Now, if you look at a Warren Buffett style investor, Warren Buffett bought into Coca-Cola and makes more money off of Coca-Cola in a day than most of us make off in a year. Because that's how you invest, right? You have to figure out ways for cash flow, and you have to figure out ways to continuously beat inflation. Now, with dividend stocks, there is a higher risk to it, right? You can buy Coca-Cola, you can buy Apple, you can buy those ones, or you can buy Strategy B. Strategy B being a Bitcoin-related company, making about 10% a month, pretty significant. But from the terms of what is it? Not the Ultimate Investor. I can't remember the book I read. It was the most boring book in the world. Warren Buffett read it when he was a kid. The Intelligent Investor. There we go. Intelligent Investor clearly states that anything over 5% is typically hopium. It's a dream. That seems to be where we're at, but times have changed. That book was back from the 50s and it was revised a few times, but in the stock market, in investing, when you're seeing more than a 5% return annually, typically it is a pipe dream. Not everything is going to stand out. So Strategy B sitting at 10% a month is pretty significant. Will it stay there forever? More than likely not. But it gives you an opportunity to start gaining equity. Just think about that. If it does give you on average of 10% return a month, all you need is 10 months and you're back to where you originally started. So if you can get 1 year of dividends in there, you could double your money. Just saying, double your money and be able to move that money elsewhere. I'm not saying it's going to run forever, but it does stay around $100 a share for Strategy B, which is perfect. And then it stabilizes, and then they pay dividends every month. And they're still buying more Bitcoin right now than anybody else across the board. So that's pretty significant stuff. But the S&P 500, not to get sidetracked too much, but the S&P 500 did bounce off of this trend line as of right now. Remember, this trend line goes all the way back to 2007, I believe. Way back here. Yeah, the financial crisis of 2009, that bottomed, and then we've been following this channel pretty significantly all the way here, which we've eventually reached the blow off top. I mean, depending on how strong this blow off top goes, this could have been the peak. This very well could have been the peak, and we're going to go back into a bear market. I don't think that's exactly the case. I think we have more room to run, but something we should be paying attention to. So that's all I have for you guys today. I wanted to just touch on a few things, make sure that we had an update on the market. If you guys like what you see, make sure to like and follow. We're going to be diving into this stuff continuously for the rest of the year. If you need anything, make sure to reach out. Otherwise, have a blessed day. We'll see you soon.